Zico, he, him from Belgium, and wants to talk about outside influence on coming out as trans. So, hello, Zico. How are you?
Hi, good evening. Uh, am I audible? Am I clearly hearable, or
Yes,
the
you are.
mic just?
You are clear as a lightning bolt literally struck a transformer across the street. But I'm still here, so I guess it wasn't my transformer.
Exciting.
Literally blew sparks like it was
Wow.
pretty intense. If you could see
Was
what's
it a
happening
crazy?
out
Huh?
here, it's wild. Anyways, go ahead.
Yes. So, my look, I want to say beforehand, English is not my language. So if I sound a bit rude or offensive, I don't have the words to like cautiously choose them. So I'm just saying right now, I don't have a problem with you as a soul, but I've heard from Americans, this is uniquely to Americans, that I'm a bit direct. So again, it's not to be rude to you, but I don't have really the vocabulary to choose the right words, right? So
Sure.
we talk about transgenderism, this whole concept. Do you think do you think that when you have a child, you have children that come out as Caucasian, that come out as albino, and do you think there is such a thing as a trans child? Like he's born and this is a transgender individual.
I don't think people usually come out as albino because it's kind of readily apparent when they're born that they have albinism, or those
So
traits
what,
might develop later on. Like vitiligo is something that doesn't necessarily develop until later, which results in similar things where like you have extra pale skin or you lose color in your hair or your eyes are a different color. Um, like, do I think that there is such a thing as trans children? Well, I was one. So yes, that's my perspective on that.
and what would you say a trans child is? Would you say you would just like to do girly stuff, or was it? Well, please explain to me.
So yes, absolutely. So the idea is like we are born as trans, we are born as queer, we are born, loving the people that we want to love, all that type of stuff. And so the idea comes from this. So do you know of what a social construction is? Do you understand the concept of that, Zico?
I've heard of that concept. Yes.
Yes,
So
exactly.
basically, society
In
decides what the thing is.
yeah, society kind of puts people into boxes, unfortunately, and there is a rigid understanding, even in Belgium, I'm sure, where women are doing this thing and men do these things on average. So like let's say dresses for the sake of conversation, versus
Uh-huh.
masculine presentation. The social
Yeah.
construction already exists. So for me, for example, as a trans woman, I was able to view the world and I'm like, oh, I fit into the bucket of what social construction tells me what a woman is. And I identify with the way society says that womanhood is. And that is my group. Those are my people. That is my identity. That is what I connect with. So, but if it were the other way around and it was like, let's say the gender construction was flipped, I would still want to be a woman in whatever gender construction that is, because that is who I am internally. That's my identity. I will fit with the tribe that is in that case. So that's what
So
I
what do you
think. It's
associate
not
with then?
I associate it with womanhood. So as a trans woman, I
Yeah, but
associate with women.
sure.
So
But when you
femininity
say, look, when yes,
in the
so
social
when I
construction of femininity for me.
sure. So as you said right now, every social construct could be different in different societies. But then
Mhm.
when I hear uh, individuals from the transgender realm, when I hear them speak and I say I belong to womanhood because of one, two, three, and then no disrespect, but I hear them make the claims that if I would make them, I would be considered sexist. So they say I want to wear makeup, or I want to be, and they name the typical feminine traits, like I'm a bit more sensitive or caring. But these transgender individuals, they have
So
themselves wait, 1 second. They themselves have like an image in their mind of what manhood is, and then they say whatever that is not, then that's me. But when you look at it, manhood is very vast. Not everyone is Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. You have Bob Ross, who's like
Or
very
Zico,
artsy,
I
very
hear what you're
soft.
trying to say. So Zico, I want to say this. Right now, if manhood in Belgium had a lot of makeup, would you? How do you know you wouldn't be wearing makeup like the most men in your lives if it was the social construction was differently?
Yes, I'm sure social constructions. Look, for example, in Scotland, you have those dresses that are until your knees.
That's
I
more
wouldn't wear them.
cultural. So what I'm
Yeah,
saying,
so cultural.
Zico, is, but if you were Scottish, you probably would. But that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm talking about. So if men in Belgium were more feminine, let's say, and they wore makeup, and then the women didn't wear makeup in the social construction, I would assume that you would probably wear makeup because that's what the other men in your lives are doing, correct?
That could be a reality. Yes, I could understand where
Yeah.
you're coming from. But
So
still,
that's
with
what
that
I
being
mean.
said,
So
so
I
no
identify
disrespect,
like
but
my
then you're affirming
mother
that
and
it's
my
kind of a
sister.
costume.
No, I'm confirming that there's a social construction.
Yes, that you want to adhere to from either one side or the other side, and whether you call that
I
a
don't.
feminine
I did
construction.
not create. I did not create the social construction. I just live inside of it.
Sure, but you decide. Okay, so let's say you were born like 100 years later, and from now on in America, 100 years later, everything that you associate with manhood now is feminine, and everything that you associate with femininity now is masculine. Would you then stay a man because you're now in the
No,
right
because
environment, quote
no,
unquote?
no, because I would still identify with what women do because it's still a social
And what is that
construction.
thing that women do that you associate with?
What the social construction is, just like we know what men do in the social construction now.
Yes, but what are those? What are the concepts? Like, okay, I associate with that because I'm not gonna lie to you.
You just
I,
listed a bunch. You just listed a bunch, Zico. You listed them already, like makeup and dresses and all of that type of stuff. And then you said, what if it were the opposite? Meaning what I said already in the beginning of this conversation, I would just identify with the opposite social construction that women are doing.
yes, so I think we're talking past each other here. So you say, right now I have done the transitioning because I feel more affiliated with that side. But if it were 100 years later and it was reversed, I would stay in my place because then I would feel
No.
rightly.
What she's
No.
saying
I
is
feel-
she
I would-
identifies with womanhood, and we understand that womanhood
But what is it?
exists in different ways in different contexts, right? Like in India, women wear things,
Yeah.
and in Muslim cultures, women wear certain things, and in America, women wear certain things. What she's saying is
Sure.
she feels a pull toward womanhood that would also include a pull toward all of the trappings of womanhood. And I'm using the word trappings to mean like the
Yeah.
things that you are referring to as basically stereotypes. So if the stereotypes were different, then Josie would feel pulled toward different behaviors because the behaviors being associated with womanhood is what she's describing. I would like to detour slightly and talk about gender non-conforming trans people. Like, I don't know if you know this, Zico, like there are transgender women who were assigned male at birth and they've transitioned to women. They take hormones, they've had a vagina installed, and they still work on cars and they like to play softball and they go fishing and hunting on the weekends. So there clearly are plenty of trans people who don't follow what you would describe as being like stereotypical behaviors. It's just that it's easier. Hold on, Zico, give me just 1 second. I just want to finish this thought.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
It is easier for women to be recognized as women if they fall into those behaviors that are associated with womanhood. In my country, there has been accusations that Hillary Clinton is secretly a man because she performs in a male dominated role as a politician. And there's all these jokes about how she's actually the man of the relationship and Bill's her bitch and everything. So like even cisgender women feel a sense of pressure to conform to stereotypical femininity in order to be recognized as women. So trans women, especially if their physical appearance isn't in line with what we expect from women, they are going to usually take on additional feminine qualities, even if it's not necessarily true to who they feel they are, because it is a requirement to being socially understood as a woman by other people. But there are plenty of trans women who do not give a shit and who have short hair and have grease under their fingernails and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, I feel like we get this thrown at us where it's like, well, trans people just reduce this whole thing down to stereotypes. And then we just completely fucking ignore gender non-conforming trans people as though they don't exist, or as though there isn't a good reason why trans people use these signals, because what we're doing is communicating. Wearing a dress, wearing makeup, wearing long hair, wearing your fingernails painted, those are all signals. You're trying to communicate to other people through your expression that you fit into a social group that they understand as having all those same traits, if that makes any sense.
Sure. So you're, I don't want to strawman you, right? But you basically say that these are these concepts that I feel drawn to. But what if, for example, you said that Hillary Clinton, she's extra, like a dominant to be seen as like this bitch type of woman. But this is also from the male side. You have these males who are just a man, but they feel like in social pressure, they think they have to beat people up to be a man, or they have to think they need to join the MMA gym to be a man. Like,
yeah,
manhood or womanhood is not a specific list of characteristics or behaviors. You know,
they are
Zico,
policed
right.
by people. So it's not necessary for you to beat people up in order to be a man, but there is some kind of external pressure making you feel like you should, or making you feel like you need to be prepared for violence at any moment. And like that exists outside of us, and trans people experience the same pressure. And so there are trans guys who feel like they need to get into a fight and like really show how tough they are, and like they work out, and like, yeah, trans people and cis people are both experiencing pressure to be something specific, and it is drawn on these gendered lines.
Yes, but because they both experience it, that does not mean that defines them as a man or a woman. For the same way, like,
are you a man or are you a woman? Are you a man or are you a woman?
A man.
Why?
Because I have the capability to give the sparkle of life to a woman.
So it's not about social construction at all for you?
No, I wouldn't say so, no. I would
okay, so we're having, like, this is why we're talking past each other. This is why we're talking past each other. And this is why language matters. That's why when we talked about gender is a social construction and sex is a biological thing. You are a male, like I am a male, but that does not change the fact that I am a woman, just like your maleness doesn't change the fact that you are a man, for example. So do you understand the difference? So because that's the most important thing. Okay, so you do understand the difference.
I do understand the difference, but I'm trying to say is that this term is it's imposed on us. For example, you have.
And why did you say when I asked you if you're a man or a woman? Hurry up.
The difference between them is imposed. What I'm trying to say is, for example, you go to Kyrgyzstan. I don't know if you know these countries. They are very unknown.
I do.
Turkmenistan, Tajikistan.
I do know where it is.
You have.
Yes, I know my geography.
There is no transgenderism there because it's not this whole idea.
That's not true.
Of imposing
that's not true, Zico.
No.
Transgender. This is not introduced to them.
Zico, you're wrong.
There's almost zero.
Zico, I'm going to move. If you don't stop, Zico, stop for a second.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
Yeah.
Trans people are on every corner of the world. There is no place on the planet where trans people don't exist. Just like there's no place on the planet where gayness doesn't exist. Like that. That's what we have. Just because something's illegal.
Yeah, when you say that, oh, there are no trans people here or there are no gay people here, like that is to say that people are not openly those things, or people are being killed for being that thing, or it's illegal to be that thing. But it is like very well known. And there's like not as much historical evidence as we would like to have, because people literally destroy the historical evidence of these things. But there are underground communities, underground networks in these countries where people have secret relationships in all of these different places.
Oh,
like
yes,
just because the society is intolerant of those people doesn't make those people cease to exist, because this is an intrinsic quality that people have. It's not something we choose. It's not something that happens because of our social upbringing. Like, people just are trans and they just are gay. It's like a really big problem that people perceive it as like a social contagion, that, oh, these other countries who are doing things correctly don't have this problem. Like, that is just false.
It is false, Zico.
Okay.
Do you not agree with that?
No, I don't. I do agree that there's a small portion of it. Look, I do agree that there's a small portion of those people. I'm trying to explain
why do you believe that there's no trans people in Kazakhstan? Tell me why.
That's not what I said. I said not that there is zero. My point, maybe I said that. I'm trying to take that back. I didn't say that is zero. I'm sure there are people who would like to do it, would like to do the transitioning,
sure, yes,
etc.
They are trans in their mind. Yes, they are trans. That's what we were trying to say.
Sure.
It's probably 1% of the population.
Let's just say it's 1. So when you have that 1% and it's not propagated, it stays 1%. But when you have I hear so much from women. They say, I was a tomboy when I grew up. I was very, I like hanging with the males. I like to do the rough stuff. And then, I later on, I realized I was way more comfortable because I was just more a tomboy. So
yeah, and
that doesn't have anything to do. We're fine with that, Zico.
So, yes,
we're fine with people being tomboys. But I'm not a femboy. I'm a woman. There's a difference.
Femboy. I never said fem. I said tom. It's like when you're a woman and you're.
Well, she's coming from the opposite direction, so she's giving the opposite example.
There's
like
tomboys and there's femboys.
And then...
Yes, exactly. So I am not a femboy. I'm a woman.
Yeah, it's like what you're describing is like young girls who do masculine things. And she's saying she's not a male who likes feminine things. Like, she is a woman. That is the difference. That there is room, in my view and in Josie's view, for males to just be feminine. You can just be gay, or you can just like makeup. Men, whatever. Like, you can do whatever you want, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there are some people who are born male who are women, and that this is a fundamental trait that they can't change. And when you say like, oh, it's like 1%,
exactly,
but except if we socially support them, then the number increases. We're pulling out the left-handedness chart. When you stop actively punishing people, when you stop actively suppressing something, it will, in the immediate future, slightly like increase in a way that seems exponential, and then it levels off, because in actuality, we know that the statistic globally is that roughly like 2 to 3% of people are transgender. Like, on a fundamental level, that just is what they are. And just by making the world hostile for them, it doesn't make them not trans. It just makes them unable to be outwardly trans. Do you see a difference there?
Sure, but don't you see that, for example, in America, I heard last, I don't know if that's completely correct, but that the youth now is like 20%. They identify with the rainbow community.
It's 3%.
At least way more.
And also that includes, if you're saying the rainbow community, that also includes all of the gay people. And the reason, I'm going to be completely clear with this, Zico, and I want you to understand that this is an extremely serious thing I'm about to say to you. When people cite these numbers about like, oh, there's a sudden huge number of gay people or a sudden huge number of trans people, in my country, and probably around the world, but especially in my country, there was a epidemic where thousands and thousands and thousands of gay people died because our government decided that it was not worth it to study HIV/AIDS, and they just let people die. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands. So when you compare 2-3 decades ago, how many gay people were there? They fucking died. So now we have a situation where more people, it seems like, oh my God, it's huge, but it's just the normal number of people, and we didn't kill them.
Yeah. That's all it is, Zico.
Uh-huh.
And that's the thing. It's like
Okay.
like
Yeah.
30%, 20%, like those are all just people identifying that they're not straight or they're not cis, meaning that
It's
they
still
are
like
not.
3% trans, though.
Yeah, it's still like 3% trans. That's about it. Like even with the youngest populations, and that's what it really comes down to. Zika, you do realize that that 1% of, or even just 1% of the entire world is the population of Russia, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that that's an entire population of people? Don't you think those people matter?
I never said that transgender individuals don't matter as souls. I never said that.
I know, but the thing about it is the conversation leads to them not mattering, right? Would you say that in Kazakhstan you don't have trans people? It's because they're being oppressed because they don't matter to their society. They're worth more dead than they are allowed to live openly and free. It's those type of conversations that lead to the dangers that we are talking about, and that's why we push back so hard about the idea between gender and sex, because that is essentially what allows us to keep our trans people alive,
Uh-huh.
because we care, we have value. Are you on the phone? Are you done? Zico, did you
Yes,
take a
I
phone
heard you.
call? Okay. So I'm just saying, do you understand the point of that? That the reason we have the difference between gender and sex in our society is to protect people to live freely. Does that make sense? I think your phone went to sleep. Wake up your phone.
Oh, I think he's gone.
Oh, I guess he took that call. I guess it was important.
Yeah, he dropped. It's fine. We were gonna need to wrap it up and move to super chats
I
anyway.
know. I was about to move on too. All right. Well, that's a frustrating. And
I
I
wish
just
people
wanted.
were more clear in when they're talking to our screeners. I didn't know that we were going to end the show on a call that was going to be that frustrating.
I know, because it all starts with the sex and gender thing, right? Like it's
Yeah.
always sex and gender being the same thing, right? When like the idea of asking him why he's a man, oh, because I can reproduce the beauty of life. Okay, so now we know where that's
Because I
coming
have the
from.
sparkle. He's like
I have
Edward.
the life
He has
sparkle.
the sparkle.
Spreading it all over the place. You
That's
know,
horrible.
spread that sparkle.
It's truly
Spread
horrible.
it, sir.
Hey, it's Jimmy Snow here. I'm the executive producer on the line with a fun fact. Did you know 100% of the hosts of this channel enjoy eating? It's true. And if you would like to help contribute to their ongoing addiction, you can do so by going over to Patreon or becoming a channel member. There are show-specific, host-specific tiers. Those are awesome. But also, you can leave a super thanks with a special little highlighted comment. You can like, comment, and subscribe. All of those will help fill our whittle bellies. By the way, check out some of this content over here. Algorithm, what next?